Hello guys and girls and good afternoon and welcome to YouTube. This is my channel Ollie JHN and today you can join me for another subsection. So you've joined me for Ollie JHN vlogs, you've joined me for Ollie JHN reviews and now another one, a new one, it's Ollie JHN kitchen. And today I'm going to be showing you how to bake a cake with two favourite ingredients in terms of combinations. We have white chocolate and strawberry. So we're going to be making a white chocolate and strawberry cake. So join me in a minute in the kitchen for a white chocolate and strawberry cake. See you in a minute. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, and never forget it, is to turn on the oven. Lots of people start baking and forget to put it in the oven. So turn it on fan, and we want it on 180 centigrade. Okay, so first what we're going to do is we're going to totally forget about the strawberries and the white chocolate, and we're going to get straight down to the cake. And all it is 5 basic ingredients. So let's show you exactly what those ingredients are. Okay, the first ingredient you're going to need is self-raising flour. The second is butter. The third thing you're going to need is caster sugar. The fourth ingredient you're going to need are eggs, 2 large eggs. And finally, the last ingredient you're going to need is some baking powder for a rising agent. Okay, so there are 5 main ingredients. You can hear the oven going on in the background slowly warming up. But let's forget about those 5 main ingredients and go to 3 of those 5 main ingredients. And that's very simply flour, butter and sugar. So the reason I say focus on these 3 main ingredients is because they are all the same weight, and that's what makes this very simple. You're either going to need 4 ounces or 100 grams, whatever unit you prefer to measure in, of each on every one of those. So let's weigh those out. So first you're going to need a set of scales obviously and a bowl, and we're just going to turn those on and tare them so we know the weight of the bowl isn't included. So we're just going to pour those in. What we're going to need to do now is break it up, and here is the reason. Everything needs to be smooth within a cake to keep it light and fluffy, and that's the key. It's really important that all of this is broken up, so any big lumps of sugar you just want to absolutely crush up to tiny little bits. Okay, so we're going to use a sieve next, and we're just going to pour that sugar through like so, and just whack it on the side like so. And all of the sugar will eventually come through if it goes on your work surfaces or somewhere else in your hair. Eventually, it's all going to come through. And what you'll be left with is just the little bumps at the end. And there you have it. That is 100 grams or 4 ounces of sugar. And what we're going to do next is just sieve in the flour. So I'm going to stick on the sieve. Okay, so that's 4 ounces of flour, and now one more ingredient, which is butter. Okay, so as I said, last is the butter, so we're just going to add that in. You can use soft margarine or butter. Okay, and there you have the right amount of butter as well. So just remember, we've got 5 main ingredients, and these are the 3 with the same amount, now 100 grams or 4 ounces. So what I'm doing now is just whisking that butter so it's nice and soft. I'm just doing that with a fork, like so. So we're going to add all of these 3 ingredients in now. Okay, so as you add each ingredient to the main bowl, you need to whisk them in turn. Don't add them all at the end and whisk them all together. You need to whisk each one in turn. And at this point, I think it's important to mention that you can also double the cake mixture, which I usually do, but we are going on holiday pretty soon, and that means we're not going to be able to finish this cake in terms of eating it, so we are making a half small one. As you can see, I'm just forking with the back of the fork the sugar into the butter. So technically we've got a butter sugar there, or buttercream. So that is that. Next what we're going to do is add in the flour. We want to do that in turn. So we're just going to put a little bit of flour in to start with. About a third of the mixture, so 30 grams roughly. And just again using the back of the fork. I'm going to leave that last third of the flour for when the eggs go in, because it can get very watery once the eggs go in. And next we are going to do the eggs. So you're going to need a separate bowl, whack the egg on the top, so, and crack the egg can see a disaster there. There's one egg, and I will now do the other one. In goes that. And what you're going to need to do next is just whisk these eggs up. And you don't want to over whisk these, otherwise they're going to become scrambled. That's our mixture. Now what we're going to do is just put in about half of that third of the flour. And what you'll see is I'm actually whisking it by hand. And in a minute we are going to use an electric whisk, but the mixture itself by that stage will be about 70–80% already done. So the electric whisk will just give it that final smoothness. Okay, so at that stage it's ready, and as you can see, hopefully can, there's slight bumps in the surface of it. So what we're going to do now is get an electric whisk to really smoothen that out. Okay, so next we're going to be using an electric whisk. I said it just smoothens it up a bit, so if we have a look here. And you'll see my technique here is to go all the way round, like so, go through the middle. And also lifting it up slightly so it does more of a surface blend. Don't lift it up too much, otherwise it'll go everywhere. And make sure you really get into the edges as well. So as you can see now the mixture is very smooth indeed. And if you look as I lift up this whisk, it runs a bit like, a little bit runnier than honey really. I'm going to put that to one side for a minute and let that rest. And what we need to do next is just get a cake tin. So this one is one of these easy pop out ones where the base comes out of the main part. So we're going to push that in and we're going to grease. Now if you put too much butter on, the edges will actually burn because the butter will burn. If you put too less butter on, the cake won't come out very easily. So it's about getting the right balance. We're going to bring the mixture back, and there's one more ingredient. So we've done 4 in there now, and now we're just going to add a teaspoon of baking powder, which you can get from your local shop. And we're just going to spread that out. And this is a rising agent, which means it's going to allow the cake to rise, obviously. So we're just going to mix that in. And one thing I'm definitely going to advise you to get is one of these. It's just a little squidgy thing. And if you look down here, over here with the whisk, you're going to see it's going to come off a lot easier. It's going to bring off all that mixture. Pouring that in. And we're just going to use this squeegee thing just to bring it all in. Like that. Okay, now if you come over here, what you'll see is we can use this squidgy thing just to flatten out the top. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put that into the oven, and it goes in there for about 30 to 40 minutes. I'm just going to put a small amount of water in that. It doesn't matter if it's warm or cold, about half filled like so. And we're going to put that on the gas. Okay, like so. Now you can see there's a water mark, hopefully, where the white chocolate is going to go. And that will melt. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to cut some strawberries up. So just cut the heads off and then cut roughly in half like so. What we're going to do now is we're going to get this little cutter up like this, and we're going to stick those strawberries straight in there like so. Really concentrated strawberry, so it's very strong. Okay, next we're going to make the buttercream, and the ratio is 2 to 1, so 2 icing sugar. You can use raw icing sugar, it's ideal. And then we're going to need 2 to 1, so 1.5 ounces of butter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add that into that. And we're going to use the back of the fork and push the butter through the icing sugar. And as you can see, it does start to come together, the icing sugar, slowly blending. Most of the icing sugar is now on the table. The butter starts to take over, and you'll get something like that. So we've got our cooled down white chocolate from earlier, and we're just going to add a small amount of that straight into the buttercream like so, and we're going to stir that in, and it's going to make a little bit more runnier. Yeah, there's definitely white chocolate in there now, you can taste it, so that's good. So that's the white chocolate one. Now I've also done a small batch of this one. It's exactly the same, it's buttercream, but I haven't had the white chocolate yet. So I'm going to add a bit of that strawberry mixture that we created. And what you'll find is we'll get quite a sharp flavour from the fresh strawberries. Should hopefully be alright. Yeah, it's definitely sharp from the strawberry, but you're also getting the sweetness from the icing sugar. Okay, so just testing the cake again. This time there's hardly no liquid on there. The cake's a lot more firm, so that cake is now ready. So let's do some moulding. So to do this, we're going to use a simple sandwich bag, I'm going to fill that with a little bit of white chocolate, and then going to cut the corner off, and that will become a homemade piping bag, so you don't actually need one of those. And then we're just going to pipe that onto a chopping board that you've got at home, and we're going to stick that in the fridge. Okay, so we're going to put the cake onto a chopping board next, and we're going to need to separate that from the base. And you're going to get two halves like that. Now you want to leave them like that because they're going to cool a lot quicker. You can see the steam rising. And what we're going to do is put our strawberry buttercream here. But then what we're going to need is something to actually stick the cake together properly. So we're going to use a little bit more of that strawberry mixture we had earlier. Okay, so we're going to cut the top of the cake off now so it's a little bit more flat. As you can see, it's just a little bit of a funny shape. So up next we're going to put this white buttercream. And then we can just push those round the edge like so. And then if you come back to here, we've got some more of that puree. So we're just going to put a small amount of that in the middle. So you have it, one slice of white chocolate and strawberry cake, and hopefully you can see there it's layered with the strawberry. I'm just going to try some now. That's a nice light sponge. You've got the sharpness of the strawberry in there as well, and then the white chocolate on top, which contrasts lovely with the sharpness with a bit of sweet from the chocolate. So thank you so much for watching this subsection of Ollie JHN today, Ollie JHN Kitchen. If you did like this type of video, then please do give it a like, and also comment below on what you thought on Ollie JHN Kitchen. Would you like to see me cook some more stuff? It doesn't just have to be cake, that's why it's called kitchen and not cakes or baking. So please do comment below on stuff that you do want to see cooked. Hopefully you did like it, as I said, and please do subscribe if you want to see more videos, including now kitchen, vlogs, photography, and my life. So thank you so much for watching. I've been Ollie JHN. Thank you.